Welcome to the Innerscape podcast.
Hi, Judith.
Hi, Tina, and welcome everyone to the camel party. If you're on YouTube, you can see that we completely
didn't plan
accidentally dressed the same. So yeah, today is dedicated to beige colors.
Exactly.
How are you, Tina?
I'm good. A little bit cold. As I know, you experience the same extreme cold in this beautiful May. If you're just listening, Judith was showing a beautiful bunny blanket that she's hiding under
I'm
the bed.
wrapped in. Yeah, I'm wrapped in 4 layers on the last day of May, but this is London.
Yeah, this is Switzerland.
And
so
apparently Switzerland.
Okay, but I'm curious about today's topic. So could you maybe introduce it to us, Judith?
Sure. So today we are going to talk about allowance. In Access Consciousness, which is this self-development system that we keep bringing up in many episodes, allowance means that you are in a free flow with everything that you experience. And we may let the audience have a glimpse into our work. This is the 3rd time that we record this episode, this topic, because I must admit that the first 2 times I don't think that I understood what we were talking about. I just tried to make sense of it, but I truly believe that this is something that can be so beneficial to everyone's life, and just to improve our awareness of it. How do you feel about this topic, and what does allowance mean to you, Tina?
It's a really complex topic, and it's hard. It was hard for me as well to understand it, especially the word allowance is. So we are not talking about like paychecks and stuff like that, but the word meaning more to allow kind of this flow state in your life. And it's hard because it's kind of connected to acceptance, but it's not really acceptance. So I think it's important to make the differentiation between acceptance and allowance. So when there is a situation rising in our life, we have different ways to react, and with allowance as a state of mind or a technique, however you want to look at it, it helps us to just be in this free flow, as you said.
Allowance is a creative energy. It's the pole opposite of judgment, because judgment is a strict point of view. And one of the golden sentences of Access Consciousness is that everything is an interesting point of view. With judgment, you restrict yourself. It doesn't only mean negative. Judgment can be something positive. For example, you are so smitten by your new love, your partner, that you think, oh my God, this man is amazing. And he is so attentive, affectionate, and always surprises me with little presents here and there. And that can be almost heavy for the other person, because it puts him into a role that he needs to meet up to.
Mm-hmm.
And he needs to maintain that image of himself. So it limits.
Yeah.
In the future, it can also create disillusion and disappointment, because when the other person doesn't meet the standard that we put up, then we easily get disappointed. So a few days ago, I watched a movie, and they were reciting from a book, and they said something that I absolutely loved, that the absence of judgment helps us appreciate reality. When you judge something, let's say the day outside, you say, oh my God, it's an awful weather. I had amazing plans to go out for a walk or hiking, and it's just completely ruined. So you don't allow yourself to see the reality. Or it might be not the best example, sorry.
It can be because you judge a weather that is happening. It's just a rainy weather, and children go out and they enjoy rain, to jump in the puddles and everything, and it can be a beautiful day for someone, or someone who loves rain, but we judge with negativity because we made the decision that if it's not sunny, it's not good. And I think it's a great example for this, that we just have to see the reality that it's just weather, and we can perceive it in a different way, with a positive or a negative judgment.
Yeah, and also we can make other plans indoors. We can finally do that long overdue decluttering that we keep putting away.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is limitless, and also we are unlimited creatures. We have unlimited receiving and giving.
Yeah, and I think allowance itself, what we're talking about, is in this context means that when you allow judgment to just be, even if it comes towards you as a negativity or positivity, or you judge something, then you block yourself. So when you just let it happen, so you allow it to happen, then you don't create these blockages. So as you say, like infinite receiving and infinite allowance and infinite giving can free flow. And it sounds really spiritual, but it's not actually. It's just the way to look at things, right? We don't have to think like super woo stuff, but like just our mindset to change that. If we receive a negative judgment, for example, we can decide to not control us, and the way we can make this happen is to allow it to happen. Because at the moment that we start to fight with this person, that this is not true, I don't agree with this, I don't accept this, then you create this type of tension and energy blockages, and then you create even more and more negative energy. But if you receive this negative judgment towards you, you just say, well, yeah, that's your opinion, and maybe it hurts you, and you don't have to agree with it or accept it, but you can still allow it, that this person has this judgment of you. You don't judge the judgment, and then you're able to let it go, because it's not gonna define you, or it's not gonna control you. And I think that's what really allowance means in the judgment area. But there's so many other layers here and topics as well where this happens to us, right?
And I remember, Tina, that last time we talked about it, you were talking about the Sadhana method, and you mentioned that allowance enables us to view situations from a polar angle, like negative and positive polarity. And you had some great examples to that. Do you remember now?
Yeah, I learned about allowance on a deeper level through the Sadhana method, which is kind of a letting go technique from Hale Dvoskin. And there's different ways to use this technique, and one of them is the polar angle. So letting go of an unwanted feeling or unwanted thought from both sides, so from the negative and the positive side. And normally it's good to let go of both, because they can both control us. One example for a negative polarity can be when we receive a negative judgment that, for example, you look terrible today, and then your response would be going against it, like, no, it's not true, I don't agree with this, I don't accept this judgment. Then you kind of go into this fight with the person, so you create a blockage, and you're not able to let go because you're so attached to it. In another way that you can react to this negative judgment is that you accept it. So when this happens, it's also creating a blockage, because you start to believe what this person is saying, so you are not allowing it to be, but you accept it as a statement. So you block every other possibilities that you might be beautiful for your family, your friends, your boyfriend, because you accepted this one statement from this person, and it's gonna control your life, that, okay, so I'm just ugly, I'm just an ugly person.
I think it's very clear, and it also proves very well that acceptance doesn't equal allowance, because we receive so many judgments in our lives. Our boss or our teacher can say that we're lazy, we can't focus, we're not smart. For example, Shakira, who was said that she couldn't sing. Her teacher said that you have an awful voice, and look, she has become a megastar. And if she had believed her teacher, she would have never become so famous and successful. So I think if we believe judgment, and gosh, the world is very judgy. We receive so many statements about us, which is just an interesting point of view, and it creates blockages, and it limits us when we take them as rock hard truth. But it's the same with positive judgment as well. For example, let's say I go out dancing and someone comes to me and says, oh my God, you're so good. And if I believe that and accept as truth, then I would think I don't need to improve anymore. I don't need to practice because I'm the best. So again, a positive judgment can create blockages and limitations. So the best way to look at anything that we receive is that is just an interesting point of view. I love this and it's a bit spiritual, but it can be transferred to real life events as well. That this mantra to let it go, let it flow. Let it go, let it flow. So everything that you experience, and this is how I started introducing this topic, is that you're in a constant free flow with everything, with all these judgments and experiences.
Yeah, and opinions.
Yes, I remember that you can read it so often or hear it from therapists, to look at your life as if you were sitting in a cinema and just watch the movie, but don't get so involved, don't get so caught up with every single detail, but try to look at it from the outside.
Yeah.
There is an exercise that I absolutely love. It's about your feelings and thoughts, how they're constantly changing, and why are we so attached to them when the other time we're just able to let them go so easily. And with this free flow, if you think of them as if they were clouds, just like in the animated movies, you can move the clouds from left to right, and they just float in front of your eyes, but you don't get super attached to them. You don't chase one single cloud, one point of view, one fixed, static statement.
Yeah. Why would we let ourselves to be controlled by our thoughts when they are just thoughts? And we give so much meaning to our emotions and feelings when they are in constant change. And it's normal. As we mentioned in the anger episode, we sometimes can be angry, and we don't have to judge this anger. We can just experience it until we need and then let it go. And I think it's with allowance, it's it's everywhere in a way that we have so many problems to allow our thoughts to be, allow other people's opinion to be just an opinion, just a thought, and not, like, as you say, concrete statements and concrete beings. And also with this body image, I think it's a big problem in our society that we're so controlled by this body image, how it's supposed to look like, how we see it in social media and media, and then we want to put ourselves in these boxes because we believe that a fixed point of view of a beautiful body is the truth, because so many people agree with it, so this is the truth. But it's not the truth for everyone. Just because there's a lot of people talking about it, maybe for someone who's completely out of this picture, doesn't even believe that that's the truth. And just being happy with ourselves to allow our body to be as it is, then I think it's not just attractive, but it's also, it gives you this freedom to not care for any judgment.
Yeah, because when everything is an interesting point of view, then nothing can be right or wrong, good or bad. Yeah. And judgment doesn't only kill allowance, but it also kills gratitude. Because when you have a firm opinion on something, or you insist on one single goal, then you forget to be grateful for your present. For example, you really want to get into a university or achieve that fitness level or that perfect body that you just mentioned, then you forget to be grateful for your young skin, for your healthy joints and bones, and then you hear it often from people that they look back to their photos of 20 years ago, and they say, oh my gosh, I wish I would have seen how beautiful and young I was.
Yeah.
But I was just dissatisfied with myself.
Yeah. Only looking at the little details that are not perfect and not appreciating the whole body, what it can do for you as well. I think our body is amazing in this way, that it provides us life, basically, because we are not the body, we are not this mind, we are something else. We are this kind of energy, and then we just identify with our body and with our mind, which is creating this type of limiting lives. And I think it's we're so much more than that. And if you don't believe in this, then you know, you're not listening to this podcast, probably. But yeah, I just remember this meditation that I did with Sadhguru, my favorite guru. And I did many meditations with him, but this is a really simple one. For 15 minutes, he's repeating this sentence: I'm not the body, I'm not even the mind. I'm not the body, I'm not even the mind. And that's what's repeating in your head constantly. And for like every day, for a period of time, you have to repeat this every morning. And it's like super annoying. It's really terrible. And you don't even understand, what does it mean? I'm not the body and I'm not the mind. Like, what does it mean? and at some point it clicks in your brain that it's true. I'm not the body and I'm not the mind, because I'm sitting here. I can completely forget about my body. I can completely forget about my thoughts. Yeah. So who am I then? And you don't need to answer this question, but like, it's interesting, no? How we so identify with material things.
And the mind. And I just wonder if it relates to my cinema metaphor, that is the same. If you look at your life from the outside, then you don't identify with your mind or your body.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think meditation is trying to teach us these things in different ways, but they're all trying to focus on the same, basically, to not get attached to things, because that's not who you are. That's not life. Yeah. Life is just, I don't know, something bigger.
Yeah, and also you are connected with everything. And it doesn't mean the same that you are affected by everything, if you know what I mean. Like even in the physical world, if our body is made up of millions of particles, as every other object around us, then it's all connected. Everything is connected. This is something the same as being infinite with everything. So you can't be completely detached, but you don't have to be affected.
Yeah, I think it's not...
Do you understand?
Yeah, that the point is not to be detached. The point is to be fully connected to everything around you, because we are all, as you say, infinite beings. And it sounds really spiritual, but it's really not. It's, for me, this is kind of connected to science or physics, that all atoms, molecules, everything is connected and it's creating a whole. And, universe, when someone is mentioning universe, you are the spiritual, but like, the universe exists and scientists are talking about it as well, just in a different way. But at the end, everyone is talking about exactly the same things. We just call them energies because that's easier for us, like probably for our knowledge, it's the easiest expression. But I think it's important to mention that, the fact that we are not the body, we are not the mind, which maybe now doesn't make much sense, but it doesn't mean that you detach from everything and you are nothing. No, it means that you are actually connected with every single thing around you, and that's how the free flow is created.
What we said, that we're connected with everything, and we also allow everything to happen to us. I think this is a crucial point. Let's say you insist on your certain goals, or you say you really want to achieve something, or you believe that this is the way to live. You have to obtain this house, this car, this goods, this partner, the 2 children, the dog, whatever. But let's say you find out you can't have children, then it can ruin your life if you insist on this fixed point of view that you wanted to have 2 children. But then if you allow it to be what it is, then you can look at other possibilities. But it's the same if you really, really want to avoid something. You don't want to get fired or get ill or something, and let's say you find out you have cancer at age 35, then it can also ruin your life. Cancer can probably ruin your life anyway, but let's say you get a divorce at age 35 and you feel, oh my God, my life is ruined. That's just one way, but it can also be a new beginning, a new start, a new door to opportunities that you were locked before.
Yeah, but even talking about cancer, it's again a taboo that, okay, how can you look at it in a positive way? But you don't have to be positive. You can feel shit about having cancer, but what you are also talking about is to allow this thing that happened to you. Maybe it's not a negative or positive thing. It doesn't matter what is it. We're just judging it because that's what we used to do. But it's a thing that happened, basically. And now what? Like, how am I gonna react to this? What am I gonna...
And live with this,
Yeah, but maybe, as you say, like, even a cancer can completely change your life in a positive way, as you've experienced it as positive, if you don't get stuck on the negativity, just the negative part of it. It can be something that, okay, I had to realize something. This cancer happened to me. It's not like, oh, I meant to have a cancer. You know, sometimes people also go to this direction that, yeah, you were supposed to have cancer. That's what was written in your cards. And like, no, I think it just happened for whatever reason. It can be health health problems that cause this, or stress, whatever. But like, it happened, we accept it, we allow it, and then we move on, and we get out of it stronger and wiser, and realizing that we maybe have to change something. And I think this can be so powerful when things like this happen to us, especially when it's negative.
Yeah, but this is the thing that with allowance, nothing is supposed to be positive or negative. Things just what they are.
Yeah.
And some amazing psychotherapists, for example, András Feldmár, who grew up in Canada but was born in Hungary. He had an incredible podcast, and he often says that, okay, this is it. This is reality. It's not necessarily truth. It's not my truth, or might be my truth, but not your truth. But this is the reality.
Yeah.
And with allowance, we allow ourselves to feel whatever comes up in certain situations. And you mentioned the body image, right? And how destructive it can be. But also, if we think mentally the same, if we play victims, that, oh, how people could do this to me, that's such a toxic way of thinking, because how could anyone do anything to you when everything is just a point of view that's coming from them?
And it's your choice to react how you react.
Exactly. That's also Mr. Feldmár mentions lots of times, that you can't change what happens, but the only thing you're in charge of is your reaction.
Yeah.
So if you react, okay, like, let's say your boss is super stressed and lashes out on you, or I don't know, you're driving and there are some stressful drivers around you, honking aggressively, then it's not about you, it's about them.
Yeah.
And it's always about the people. So whatever you receive, many times kindness or favors, presents that people give you, they do it for themselves because they want to feel better, or they expect something in return.
Yeah. I was also thinking while you were talking about this, when people want to change, they complain, they are victimizing themselves, and they still don't make a change. They just like to complain, basically. I'm just always thinking about, like, Hungarian grandmothers, like, always complaining about everything, that, you don't help, life is shit, everything is so hard. But at the end, they would never accept help from others. And even with compliments and love and kisses, hugs, sometimes people struggle to to receive them, because I think they're not in allowance with this, with the feeling that they might deserve it. You know, I think many times we have this issue in us that we don't feel that we deserve love and caring, or we are not used to receiving it. So we received, for example, a lot of terrible things in our lives. So we build up all these walls in front of us to block energy, to don't get hurt. And then what we do, basically, we build up the walls and we don't let anything to run through that, because these walls, these protections that we build up, we block out every single energy, because our consciousness is not differentiating between good and bad, right? Because these are just energies. It's only us making a differentiation. But if we don't let in the bad, quote unquote, bad things, we also shut out the good things. And I think that's why so many of us cannot even receive a compliment. You know, it doesn't have to define you, as we said. You're beautiful. It doesn't have to be like, yeah, I'm so beautiful and I'm going to be, you know, super egoistic about it. But you can receive good things and you can enjoy until it's there, right? And then let go. And the same with help, for example, with these grandmothers, like, they're so comfortable with the shit. They're so comfortable with suffering that, yeah, I'm gonna do the cleaning and the cooking, but let me help you. No, it's okay. Okay, so you want to suffer? Like, I'm offering the help. No, it's fine, you know. But after they still repeat the complaints, because that's what they're used to. They don't know how to receive, because they never learned how to do it. And at the same time, they block negative and positive out. What do you think about this?
Yeah.
I see you're thinking
I'm just thinking of, because this metaphor popped into my head of an umbrella just looking out of the window. So let's say you have a black umbrella holding above your head because you want to keep the rain out, right? But the same way you keep the sunshine out as well with the same umbrella. So what you said, that our body, our energies don't know the difference. So if you just build up walls because we want to keep criticism out and judgment, hatred, we don't want to get ill, failure, stress, something that can pop our happy bubbles, something that can just push us out of balance. But at the same time, with those walls, we keep out the nice things that feel good to receive.
Yeah, definitely. I think this ego topic is also really hot right now. So many people are mentioning ego everywhere, and it's another confusing expression, I think. What does it actually mean? And I think it comes back to this, that it's just our consciousness in a way, and then until you're in a free flow, your ego is not controlling you in either direction, not to think a lot about yourself or think really low about yourself. Like for example, all these successful people that are present in the media, I think you can feel it on them that they have all this praise from all their audience and fans, but it looks like they don't really care. Probably some of them, yes, they're controlled by the fame, but I think the big teachers, like for me, Oprah is like that, Sadhguru is like that. They look like they're not super controlled all the time. I mean, I'm sure they make also they go into this direction sometimes as well, but I think they're mostly really centered and don't care too much about these comments, not the negative and not the positive, because then you lose yourself in them, right? Because you stop listening to your own authentic voice, what tells you who you are for yourself. because that's the most important, not other people's opinion.
It must be so hard to be famous. I think 20, 30 years ago, we didn't understand what it meant to be a celebrity and why they fell into drug use and alcoholism and depression. But with social media and with the misuse, the unhealthy way of use of social media, now we have a better insight, because this does not help Allowance. When we use social media for external approval that we are beautiful or our life is great, and we just post the holiday pictures and we take 200 selfies and we pick the best one, we put a filter on it and we get 60 likes and we say, oh, good, I'm beautiful. Then this ruins all your practice that you can have with Allowance.
Yeah, I mean, you can use wisely also social media to avoid these things.
Yeah.
But it's a good example for this, filtering reality, basically.
Yeah, filtering reality. That's what we do. And there's just one thing, how we can practice Allowance in everyday life, is that we live in a question that allows us to change anything and everything. So we keep asking several times within a day that, okay, what is it? What is it there that I don't see? What else can be possible?
Yeah.
So instead of waking up and just going like a hamster in the hamster wheel, we stop and we say, okay, what is it I'm not seeing? Is this good? Does it feel light? Does it make me feel heavy? I remember I had a friend, a very good gay friend in London, whose big dream was go to Florida, because apparently that's an LGBTQ paradise in the United States. I don't know. I'd never been, only heard from him. So he saved up for this big trip. He was in clouds. He traveled there. And after he returned, I asked him, so how was it? And he said, it sucked. I hated it. And I loved that. I respected him so much for admitting, for being able to change his opinion on something that he fixated for so long in his mind. Because so many times we get a job, a dream job, or a dream partner, we get married, and we keep up this image that this is what we always wanted. And with that, we limit ourselves from changing something that doesn't work for us. Changing location, I always wanted to move to Spain. I moved there and I realized that I would never realize it, but I realized that it's too hot for me, or I don't like tapas. It never happened. But theoretically, I realized. And then if I get stuck in my fixed point of view and in my stubbornness, that this is what I always wanted, I have to stick to it till the end. It's the same with a partner, with a hairstyle, with anything.
Yeah.
Instead of asking constantly, okay, I'm here now, does it actually make me feel happy? And it might have worked for you for 2 years or 5 years or 1 week, but if it doesn't work for you anymore, then you have the freedom to change it, and you have the possibility to do something that makes you happy at that moment.
Definitely, yeah. Don't you think that if your friend would go there already without expectations, that would be already a huge change? So expectations, we already had this topic, like maybe in the 5th episode. If you haven't listened to it, check it out, please.
Tina is the marketing manager today for the previous episode.
I'm really in this marketing mood. So basically, I think it's always connected. Like everything that we talk about is always circles back to things because they all build on each other, right? And I'm not questioning your friend's emotional intelligence because it's always like good to admit it when you were wrong, let's say. But like I think already starting like, okay, I allow things to happen. Like I heard about Florida that, you know, it's the paradise for LGBTQ communities, but what if it's not? And just going there without expectation, allow Florida to be as it is. And then I have the experience from a completely different point of view, right? Without limiting anything. Then maybe he would come back like, yeah, it was great. But maybe these limiting beliefs that it can only be good made it terrible because he was only focusing on that it's like a paradise, but it was not. It was just real, like everything else in life. And I think it's amazing that you brought up being in question because we always like to give something to our audience, like as a technique that they can use to improve themselves. And there's so many things here, like interesting point of view, letting go techniques, so many, but I think the easiest that we can give them is to stay in question all the time. And I think both of us started to use this a few years back now, and I feel the difference. I feel how it's opening up possibilities, because I feel that when I was questioning something in my life that was not working, I straight wanted to find an answer to it. And when I found an answer, it was closing down every other possibilities, because I was like, okay, now I have the answer, but the answer was not helping me. The question that helps. So now I'm asking these open questions, what you mentioned as well, and it just opens up the space for any possibilities. And this is creating more and more in my life as I experience it. So thank you to say that.
No, of course. And I totally agree with you that the ultimate state of emotional intelligence, I guess, would be not to have expectations. But I also understand that it's hard not to get excited about something, because if I travel somewhere, I get super excited. But I'm also learning not to have expectations, or just say, okay, I go there and let's see what happens. But I think on your...
I'm not even saying don't be excited, because excitement is, we need it. We need this excitement to push ourselves to do things, but more to be excited. And even if you have some expectations, just always ask yourself, like, is it the best state for LGBT? I'm just stuck on this, like, okay, I'm going to Mallorca, and the best beaches are there, like, but are they the best beaches? Or, you know, just to leave this option, because it's kind of tricking your mind to believe that maybe it is, maybe it isn't. So you're not limiting yourself. That's, keep repeating myself, but that's what it means basically, because whatever can happen, and then you experience it as it is.
So I think we have done all we could do with explaining this topic. We really hope that we made it clear. We hope that our examples helped, and every time we repeated allowance and the other words, that it stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we did a way better job. I'm happy that we didn't release our previous episodes. Anyway, they were
Me too.
our test episodes basically. So it's fine. We're still improving,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think we did a good job. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to write us an email or write a comment on YouTube or Spotify. And we are always happy to hear from you. And if you have any suggestions to any topic that you would like us to talk about, then please let us know.
Yeah. We always attach links to our email address and social media platforms in the description, so check it out. And yeah, as Tina said, just reach out to us with anything in your mind. We'd love to hear from you. And thank you so much for your trust, your time, and hope to see you again in 2 weeks' time.
Yes, thank you so much for listening, and thank you, Judith, for this amazing conversation.
Thank you, Tina, to you as well.
Bye. See you soon. Bye.
If you like this episode, please leave a review, share your thoughts in a comment, and spread the word of our podcast so it can reach many who might need to hear it. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify and leave us a 5-star rate if you're happy with our podcast, and/or subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content and discussions.